Hello. Thank you for bearing with us. Hopefully, we're now working. Hello, good people of the internet land. Let me know. Can you hear these words for a start? Is that okay? Are these coming through loud and clear? I like to think it is. I like to think it is. Apologies that there's been minor delays. We've had gremlins. Gremlins have been in the works. But this is live, so what do you expect? You know, that's the way it goes here in Spring Harvest Land. It's lovely I was going to say see you. Lovely to be alongside you and with you. Bless you in all of these crazy days that we currently find ourselves in. My name is Paul Kerensa. If we've not met before, then hopefully we're meeting now via the magic of the internet. I hope you're doing okay. We said about 9. We said after 9. It's now 11 minutes past. So thank you for your patience if you have stuck with us. Welcome to Butlins, Guildford. It's a very small resort, but we're hoping to build on it year on year. And I will be honest, I mean, it's been a slightly easier commute this year than previous Spring Harvest, but I wish it weren't so. Obviously, we wish that we were there in Minehead or in Skeggy or in Harrogate, and unfortunately that's not the case. If it helps, I've got a picture of Harrogate, of Butlins, there we go, just to make us all remember that, you know, we could be there. Let's have a little look. Here we go. Right. So just imagine you're there. Right. Just imagine you're there. There we go. Just immerse yourself in that. There we go. There we go. Shall I do the sound of seagull? It's the sound of seagulls to make you immerse yourself in being there. Alas, we're not. We are here in sunny Guildford, very near the equator. That's why Guildford is quite so sunny. And welcome to, I know what you're doing, by the way. You're judging my bookcase, aren't you? That's what happens in all of these. You spend the first couple of minutes just quietly judging the bookcase. We've got Paula Gooder's Phoebe there. That's just behind the central heating. Currently set on 21, which you can maybe tell if you've got particularly good eyesight. Got a lot of panettone on the top shelf as well, you'll notice there. That's the way we roll over here. Little hint of a fridge in the background over yonder as well. Just a little tip of the cap there to the Archbishop of Canterbury. If he can broadcast from his kitchen, so can we. So welcome, nice to see you here. Now we've got messages, this is live, we are live. So you can send some messages in if you would like to. Peter Smedley says North Street or High Street. You know your Guildford well, Peter Smedley. Well done to you. David Doricott is criticising my seagull impression. It's a very fair point. Brian, he says, imagine being at Minehead and not being able to get any loo rolls. Yeah, we've got a few here. I don't know if we're going to last the week. We'll be all right, though. We'll be all right. And many others as well. Darren says, hi from Butlins, Falkirk as well. Lovely. The chalets are nice here. That's good to know. That's very good indeed. James would love some panettone. We'll see what we can do. If you'd like to send messages, heckles are welcome as well. You can feel free. That would be nice. I'll be honest, I've never done an online gig before, so, but also let's be honest, we can't realistically, I think for a gig you kind of need that venue, the live audience, that sort of feel, so we're going to make the best of it in these crazy times. I sincerely hope you're doing well. I sincerely hope that you and yours are doing okay through this. I'm well aware that for many of us that may not be the case. So, but comedy and joy and hope, these are things that will get us through in these bizarre days. And my kids have made some nice things. Oh, hi Spring Harvest. There you go. My kids made that one today. Hi Spring Harvest. That's from them to you. I've got now. My daughter did this one this morning. It says hello. Obviously, slightly long letter, slightly misjudged. The end of it there. What she also misjudged. I'm going to lean in as a confessional here. Is she found the permanent marker pen, which lies on the table just over yonder. She'd never used a permanent marker pen before, and she thought it's great for colouring in, which it was. I only spotted this, though, just how heavily she was really going for it on the colouring in of the hello. I spotted it after the 4th letter, and that's when she realised that she may have gone a bit too far with the permanent marker, and she lifted it up from the tablecloth, and the first 4 letters of hello, leave a slight gap for you to work out what those 4 letters might spell. They then resided on our tablecloth for much of today, which is unfortunate. We are a good Christian house here, and to have the word hell emblazoned on our tablecloth. I got most of it off. I don't know if you can see sort of, there you go, that's what's left of it now. I did a little screenshot. Looks something rather sinister there. But that was her writing hello that sort of went through onto an unfortunate tattoo for the tablecloth in what is, I hope, a rather more godly household than that. So greetings to many of you. Let it go, it's not frozen, says Les Hutchinson. We can have a little sing-song. We might do a little bit of that. We've got Let It Go. We do Sermon on the Mount, but to the tune of Frozen. And ironically, as I'm saying Frozen, it looks like the video has frozen. So that is unfortunate. Hopefully, the video's leveled out a little bit now. That's good. I think the Wi-Fi here leaves a little bit to be desired. If I'm honest, we've got two kids, right? We've got a 6-year-old and a 9-year-old. We've reached that stage in family life where the kids know more technologically than we do. So I may need to wake them up shortly to see if they can kind of make this start working. Maybe they're upstairs using their Kindles. That could be what's going on here exactly. We've reached the point where the 6-year-old, she started reprogramming the parental lock on the TV so we can't watch what we want to watch. So it's non-stop CBeebies and it shuts off at 7. That's the way it generally goes. The 9-year-old, he started doing computing at school. He does coding. So he's been doing code clubs, I was going to say in the Easter holidays, from the kitchen table just over here, because, kind of holiday clubs have sort of, I was going to say cancelled. No, they've just relocated to my house. So he loves his coding. In fact, his favourite thing at school is IT. He loves IT. So for his birthday, he wanted a book on IT called IT. We found a lovely book by Stephen King, so called IT, with it's a clown and balloons. Lovely bit of bedtime reading for him there. My kids, by the way, they are. So we've got Matthew 9, Esther 6. Those are their favourite Bible chapters. They have other names as well, but it's less impressive than that. So, you're doing a great impression of Elsa. Frozen, thank you. You need a better internet provider. Thank you, Jason. Very, very kind. Why have you got a huge left ear on your poster? Well, it's the right ear is huge as well. It's just balanced out. That's what it is. Can we get a well done in the chat to encourage him to start? Yeah, thanks for that, and thank you, Graham. Nothing very fun. I'm trying. Look, there were at least 2 jokes hidden within there. Also, though, I'd love your questions. Okay, chuck us some questions this way, and we'll see if we can answer those. My son has very kindly drawn a couple of laugh signs here as well, which we can hold up occasionally as encouragement. There you go, laugh. That says there. If you can't see it as well, it actually says, there we go, ha, but he's thinking quite funny. I will level with you. I kind of think the magic of comedy belongs on the stage, right? And we're doing our best here. We're making the chat work. The tech has left something to be desired as well. That is blame my internet provider. That's purely me going along there. But so in the meantime, I thought we can't do proper stand-up. I will give it a go, but without that thrill of the live audience, it becomes something different. So I wanted to just have a bit of an encouraging chat with you. And hope you're doing okay, and just wish you well, really, out there in all that's going on. Where we are, right? We've had some hospital trips. My daughter broke her arm middle of last week, so that was unfortunate. In normal time, it would be unfortunate. In a time when you're trying to avoid the hospitals for various reasons, it feels doubly so. But absolutely, I mean, it's a cliche. We all know this. We clap, we bang our pans and pots for the NHS, but they have been fantastic. Fixing my daughter's arm up was amazing at the Hazelmere Medical Centre. Fantastic for them. If I'm honest as well, I believe that actually we have had the virus in here, and I've had a mild version. My wife had a less mild one. The paramedics, they've come and they've been amazing. I doff my cap to them. They've been incredible. I think that we've come through it in this house, I believe. So there's hopefully a bit of hope there that, you have these things, you see it on the news, but we wish you all well in all the stages you're at. As you may know, I've had a lot of hospital things. Last year I was in hospital in fact, last year I was in hospital during the local elections. A weird time to be in hospital because last year we had a local election and a general election and the European elections. I think the only year there's been 3 elections, local, general, and European last year. And I was in hospital during the local elections, and it was a weird time to be in, right? Because I was in bed in hospital, 2 nurses talking over me. One said to the other, "Oh, I better go and vote later because it's the election day, isn't it? Local elections." The other nurse said, "Is it the local elections? I thought it was the general election." The other nurse said, "Well, it doesn't matter. What's the difference?" And that worried me because I was about to get a local anaesthetic or a general anaesthetic, and they clearly don't really mind what the difference is. But it was fine, and I had the general anaesthetic in the end, which was marvellous. When they give you this kind of gown thing, and it was lovely. They never quite tell you how to put it on, so I kind of backwards, doesn't matter. We went with it. But God bless them. God bless the NHS. They've been marvellous to me. Born as I was with no navel, and yet somehow I keep my fluff in my pockets. Otherwise, there's no real use for the lack of belly button. If we can get through the next 25 minutes without me showing my lack of belly button, that would be impressive. But I've got other things to show you. I thought we'd have a bit of a sing-song. All right, so brace yourselves. What I thought we would do is have a little bit of a play, a little bit of a sing-song, right? Here we go. Right, let's have a bit of this. The other thing is, I thought, to really get the fans in, get the people watching on the different things. Is I've got this guy. This is how you actually get people watching video streams, right? I know this is what you do. There you go. You pretend to be Joe Wicks, right? So if I put him in front of my head there, we do a bit of PE time, right? We'll do some, with Wixie, the push-ups, the sit-ups, the pull-ups, the teacups, the hiccups, whatever. I don't know. That is how you get millions of people watching. But we don't want to do that. We're going to have a sing-song, right? I had someone asking, can we have a little bit of Christmas, right? And we can do some Christmas. Someone says, Annie Joy Davis says, sing. All right, we're going to sing, right? We're going to have a bit of Christmas. And it goes a bit like this, right? It's the Muppet version of Christmas. You ready for it? I want to hear you sing, right? Here we go. Take it away. Right. Here we go. Come on. Boom, boom, boom. Here we go. Come on in. All together now. Here we go. Oh, little town of Bethlehem, how still we see thee lie. Above thy deep and dreamless sleep, the silent stars goodbye. Boom, boom, boom. Yet in the dark street shineth the everlasting light. The hopes and fears of all the years are met in thee tonight. While shepherds watch their flocks by night, all seated on the ground, the angel of the Lord came down and glory shone around. Uncha, uncha, putta, putta, puncha. God rest ye, merry gentlemen, let nothing you dismay. Remember Christ the Saviour was born on Christmas Day, hey, to save us all from Satan's power when we were gone astray. It's going to say astray, not ashtray. That's oh, tidings of comfort and joy. It's not quite the same as the worship going on earlier this evening on the Spring Harvest channel, but I hope you joined in at home. I hope I haven't woken the kids. That is always a risk. Maybe more songs as we go. Apologies, Annie Joy Davis says, love it but can't read it. Yes, okay, admittedly, I was a little bit shaky on the thing. You'll have to bear with us. We're working with the technology here, and it's rather tricky times of it. I'm still puzzling out how you can have a multi-channel universe. How do you have a Channel 5 and a Channel 4+1 that show different things? I don't know either. No, exactly. I will be honest. I have never done a gig to no laughter. Actually, that's not true. I've done several gigs to no laughter. Do you know what the smallest audience number I've ever played to is? 0 people. There you go. Not 1, not 2, not 0 people. And the promoter made me go on anyway to literally 0 people. And it made sense because I said to him, no, it's just you and me, mate. That's going to be a conversation. He said, oh, no, don't get me wrong. He said, I'm going to go as well. And it made sense because he said, they're all in the pub next door. We're in an arts centre. They shared a wall with the pub, right? And he said, this happens every month. They're all in the pub. Do you remember pubs? Remember those? We'll get back to them soon. Don't you worry about it. They said they're all in the pub, finishing their drinks. And what they're going to do, they'll come in, but they only come in when the show started. So you need to go on stage, literally, to do a gig to 0 people, just the moose head on the wall. And I'm going to go through and usher the people in from the pub, and they'll come and take their seats, and we'll have a little show. What do you reckon? Now, it was a bit humiliating, but I really wanted the 20 quid. So I thought I went with it, you know. And I went on. I did literally 15 minutes of material to nobody, which, if I'm honest, is rather reminiscent of this room now. So that's, you know, kind of fair enough. Bit of nostalgia for you there. And yeah, it was tricky. I went on 50 minutes to the Moosehead. Where you're from? Canada, my kind of town. And yeah, it was unfortunate. Eventually, 3 people came in. We had a show, which was nice. The promoter made me plug the disco. I said, mate, there are 3 of them. They kept their coats on. There won't be a disco. But I did plug the disco. And yeah, the last person left the room as the guy pressed play on the disco. The only song we actually then heard was Whitney Houston, I Want to Dance with Somebody. Just me and the promoter. We had a little dance. We're married now, so that's nice. No, we're not. That's fine. I'm married to my lovely wife, who's in the next room, in theory, watching. She said she was going to watch. I've got a funny feeling that she's elsewhere. What you might have heard the phone ring a second ago, and that's from a friend of mine who is watching this and decided he wanted to crash this particular video stream. If you have my phone number and would also like your phone call to appear on the screen, feel free to give that a go. Now I've turned that on to silent. One other gig I want to tell you about is Jason Manford, right? Jason Manford, he's a lovely fella, right? He does a lot of great work for charity. In fact, only today he said he's live streaming one of his musicals, all for charity. And yeah, I was inspired by him. I started out about the same time as old Jason Manford, right? And a few years ago, he was running late for a gig. And he was running a bit late. And he phoned the venue. He said, I'm running about an hour late for the gig. And he said, to make up for it, I'll buy a round of drinks for everybody there, right? And it cost him £4,000 to buy that one round of drinks. And he paid it gladly. They had a lovely show and all was well. And I was inspired by that because about a week after that, I was running late for a gig. And I thought, yeah, I will buy a round of drinks as well for this audience. So I phoned the venue. I said, round about an hour late, I'll buy a round of drinks for everybody there. £4.50 that cost me. So, yeah, I mean, luckily for me, they both had a half. But then my parents always do. Oh yeah, that's probably a cute laugh. You can laugh if you want. That's always nice. You can please clap. And my daughter did that one. You don't have to. That's fine. And hello is the one that is now immortalised on our tablecloth with just the 4 letters. Don't need the O. Turns out it's rather confusing. But there you go. I'm getting more calls coming in now of people who want to say hello. Yeah, I'm getting people saying the mic. Don't think the mic working as it gets louder the closer you get to the computer. Oh right, so maybe the microphone isn't actually like. Okay, is this working just as well? Okay, if I do that, can you hear me just as easily as this, or is that? I don't know. We'll fix it in post. So I've had a message from Jackie Shepherd, who's got an amazing film out called Escape from Pretoria. She's actually produced the film. You can watch it. You can go and do the thing. It's on the internet. Go and find it. It's really good. Thank you, Jackie. Hello to you. Hello to other people. Say other people. You're saying hello to me. We are laughing. Keep up the great work. Thank you, says Irreverentless. But you keep posting that again and again. I don't believe you're actually posting that. Is that a bot? Have we got a real live bot doing heckling? I've never been heckled by a bot before. I don't know how that would work. Shall I tell you my weirdest heckle? I've had some weird heckles in my life. I had one heckle from a gig, and if I'm honest, the gig wasn't going as brilliantly as it could have done, right? A bit like this one. And there's a gig up in Birmingham, the Glee Club in Birmingham, lovely gig, Glee Club in Birmingham. And there was this heckle from the back of the room. And basically, he said, I was just saying to the audience, look, you're a bit starey. This must be what it's like on the Dragon's Den. And a voice at the back just said, I'm out. So that was nice. Same gig, a couple of months later, I was back there, and another comedian was on, not going brilliantly. And he said, he was looking at the audience, and the voice in the back said, hey, you're like Bruce Willis in that film, The Sixth Sense. And the comedian said, what, I'm like a movie star or something? And the heckler said, no, he didn't know he died either. So, tough gig. Also, if you've not seen the film The Sixth Sense, I wouldn't bother now. But you've had 20 years, so fair play to you. So, who else? Oh, good. You don't need the mic. It's working without it. Well, if I'm honest, I like a bit of stagecraft. So I might just keep it, if that's all right, you know. So, yeah, we'll roll with it. Now, I've got more music, but I've got a funny feeling that music doesn't quite work as well as Mark Ellis says, Mike, thought his name was Phil. Loving your work. This is what we need. Bit of banter. Double acts. You and me, Mark, we're going to go on the road. He does need the mic for comfort. That is very, very true. Now, other things we're going to do. I'll tell you what I will do. Before we finish, we're going to finish about 1:45, something like that. Then it's the night blessing. If you're on the Spring Harvest channel, Spring Harvest, amazing. If you might be new to Spring Harvest, right? You might have just stumbled across this, browsing through the internet superhighway. Spring Harvest, amazing festival. It's meant to be on right now in Minehead and in Skegness and in Harrogate. And it is on right now, but here on the internet. Spring Harvest Home, it's called. It's all on YouTube. There are loads of seminars, talks, worship, singing, kids club stuff, brilliant. I've watched some stuff today. Kathy Madavan stuff was brilliant. Malcolm Duncan, he'll be back with the night blessing at 10 o'clock tonight. So we'll be here till about 1:45, 10 to, something like that, with bits and pieces there. But before we finish, I'm going to attempt to do for you the entire Bible in tribute to American Pie. Now, I've done this at the old Spring Harvest before. I've never done it in the privacy of my own kitchen to a live audience of 0 people, but several hundred online. David Smedley says, egg jokes, they are cracking. Perfect for Easter. Thank you, David Smedley. So, American Pie, the entire Bible. Do you want to do it? Should we do it? I think we should do it now. Let's do it now. In fact, first of all, let's have a little drinky. Hey, there you go. Spring Harvest team. There you go. This is from 2015. There you go. So, magic trick for you. There you go. Little magic trick. That's Spring Harvest 2015. Take another sip. There we go. Another one. There you go. That's Spring Harvest 2008. There you go. That shows my vintage. And another little magic trick. This one here. That's Church Actually. There you go. That's that one. So cheers to that. If you'd like any readings, by the way, from any of the books behind me, over here, it's that side, isn't it? If you'd like any readings from there, that's the wine rack. That's a whole different sort of reading. But we could read from Nigella or Delia Smith. Any of these you'd like. You can heckle and suggest what you're after. David Smedley says, Velcro, what a rip-off. You're quite right. That's Tim Vine's joke. Tim Vine, who was going to be doing one of the Spring Harvests, and he wisely chose not to do the live thing. He's busy man. But I'll be honest, it's a weird gig, this. It's a weird gig doing it to, if I'm honest, silence. I mean, your heckles coming in are marvellous. Just can't hear. If you could all just, there must be a program that can make them just go ha ha ha. In fact, I've got somewhere here. Where's the thing? I did get a voice box here suddenly somewhere. We'll find it before the show. Here we go. Right. Occasionally we can do things like this. Yeah. Yeah. I did bring my own laughter, but no one else was gonna. So also brought this. That's just rude. So, we'd like you to gallop. I'm not going to gallop, Grace, but thank you for the suggestion. I'll have a word with Miranda, see what we can do. Read from the 1001 Cats book. I've forgotten a 1001 Cats book. Do we have a 1001 Cats? It's 1001 days. Days. It's not cats, it's days. How many? There aren't 1001 cats in the world, I don't think. I mean, we can look at the 1001 days, but there's days that shape the world. That's what it is. I thought it was days out for a second there. That'd be rubbing it in a little bit, wouldn't it? In this time of lockdown, whatever we might call it. No, so listen, this is the Spring Harvest Festival, marvellous thing, Spring Harvest, and it'd be rude and wrong of me to not do something biblical. So this is a piece I put together a little while ago. It's doing the American Pie version of the Bible. I call it American Bible. And I'm not going to sing it for you because, who's got a voice nowadays? And yes, thank you. I'm getting a message from Emma Hazelden. Our voice box, we gave you that. You did. Thank you, Emma. For that, you can have a round of applause. Emma Hazelden, who gave me the voice box. Here we go. There we go. In fact, maybe we can do some requests. If you want any of the ones, just you can say top row, third one along, for example, third row down. We can have a drum roll. And now, the Bible, in tribute to Don McLean's American Pie. A long, long time ago, God created heaven, earth, and firmament. And he created sun and sky, the birds and beasts, a gal, a guy, and everything was perfect. Heaven sent. We should have listened, but we didn't. Ate the fruit that was forbidden. Should have begged God's pardon, but he threw us out the garden. And Cain saw Abel full of pride. So Cain committed fratricide, that first whodunits open wide, the day the first man died. So bye-bye early days of mankind. Old man Noah's in the know about the end being nigh, because God said, go and build an ark to keep dry. Then a rainbow will light up the sky and sit in windows. And that Tower in Babel's quite high. Now, if you read the book of Genesis, Abe has faith in God, who then insists that it's circumcision time. And old Abe believes he'll have a son, even though his wife is 91, and Sodom and Gomorrah, they're no goes. So Isaac's born, God says, sacrifice, and Abe jumps to it in a thrice. An angel shouts, no, wait, you've proven you got faith. So Jacob has 12 sons, but dotes on dream boy Joseph, whom he gives a coat. And Joseph saves his brother's goat the day the crops all die. There were 12 tribes. Bye-bye, Israelites are enslaved. Throwing young Moses in the Nile, thankfully he was saved. The burning bush, and God sends Pharaoh 10 plagues. Let my people go from Egypt, says he. And that's when he parts the Red Sea. So for 40 years they wandered promising lands. God gave Moses 10 commands. Joshua rose as Moses passed. Then at Jericho, he needs someone to blab, so he tries to make them go to Rahab, and the walls fall at the trumpet blast. There are judges like Deborah, and Gideon fights pretty much on his own all the Midianites. Samson's met a beguiler, a wow, Delilah. So while Ruth's a daughter-in-law most loyal, the judges decline, the people want a royal. Samuel anoints the first king Saul, who faces Philistines. But he forgot God, and my, that Goliath's a giant. That young shepherd known as David finds his slingshot reliant. David's king unites the country to find his son Solomon's a royal most wise. Builds a temple, has 700 wives. Now, Israel, ruled by Rehoboam. Judah splits off, ruled by Jeroboam, or the other way around, actually. Elijah tests Baal and rises up. A giant whale swallows up Jonah. The Jews are exiled down to Babylonia. Then there's Esther. And don't give up your day, Job. There's half-time wisdom from David's Psalms, while Solomon's proverbial message calms. There's a time for Ecclesiastes, and Song of Songs is 50 Shades of Grace. Yes, I went there. While Isaiah prophesied Messiah, there are lamentations from Jeremiah, and repent nation, says Zephaniah, and then Jerusalem fell. They sacked the temple, and Haggai did some prophesying. Zechariah, Joel, and Amos long for living in Zion. Good old Daniel dodged a big hungry lion. Malachi said, soon the day of the Lord. And in the beginning was the Word. Now, Joe and Mary went to Bethlehem, had a wondrous baby, met a few wise men. Now's the time to start again. We're over halfway. So come on, John be nimble, John baptize. Jesus ain't tempted by the devil's lies. He's gone fishing for a dozen friends. And as they watch him on the mount, and he feeds more folks than they could count, he raises Jairus' daughter, and he even walks on water. He says to love our neighbour, turn the other cheek, watch her planks in eyes, and blessed are the meek. Triumphal donkey riding starts that week, when he knows he's going to die. The Pharisees said, bye-bye, going to crucify. Oh, Pontius had no conscience, so he ended the trial. And them good old boys communed with bread and red wine, hearing this will be the day that I die. And on that cross, he looks up and asks why. I met a man called King of Jews, and he returned with such good news, a rolling stone and empty grave. And some went to that sacred place where they saw him risen face to face. He ascended, and the Spirit came to stay. And in Damascus, Paul found Jesus, taught grace to Romans and Ephesians. Corinthians learned love's patient, and it's not about laws, Galatians. And James said, live well, do not boast. And the Father, Son, and the Holy Ghost, well, Paul and Peter kept them close. And then those martyrs died. But the church learnt, love, said in 1, 2, 3 John. Hey Jude, don't be afraid, slaves saved in Philemon. And good old John concludes his revelation, saying, let me tell of visions I glimpsed. His postscript is post-apocalypse. Bible ends in new earth and heaven. There'll be 7 seals and 7 bowls and trumpets, yet 7. The good book ends, he is coming again. The grace of Jesus be with you. Amen. So that, from memory, is the American Bible, as we call it. If you Google American Bible, P-I-B-L-E, then the song version is sort of there somewhere. I think we covered all the books. Didn't do the Apocrypha. That's for another time. But yes, so it's a sort of a poemy songy thing. That I will be honest, I was listening to it. They had on the radio the other day that American Pie song. Are you finding that so many, whether it's songs about walking hand in hand in public, or going to bars, or you watch TV shows and you think, well, that wouldn't happen. That's unrealistic. There's people in public. They're not 2 meters apart. It's difficult, isn't it? In this new normal that we find ourselves in, to look back at those things that we saw before. It's a real line in the sand kind of moment where you can look at this and it just feels weird, doesn't it? It feels wrong. In fact, jokes, as far as I'm concerned, have sort of been ruined. I mean, generally, I'm well aware that some people are thinking, you know, you tune in for stand-up comedy. I'm not even standing up, let alone doing comedy. If I'm honest, it's the first sign of madness. A bloke talking to himself in a kitchen for 40 minutes. But comedy, right? Jokes have been affected, obviously, by the coronavirus thing, because comedy's weird at the best, but we need comedy, of course. We need comedy at times like this. But certain jokes just no longer work. Knock, knock, who's there? We've left your delivery on the bin lid. You know, that's one. Why did the chicken cross the road? Social distancing. It's quite straightforward. My wife's gone to the West Indies. How? Because flights aren't really going, are they? So Jamaica, well, no, the government made a stop. An Englishman, Irishman, and Scotsman don't meet up because they're all at home. Man walks into a pub. There's an obvious problem with that one. Waiter, there's a fly in my soup. Well, I'm not a waiter now because there aren't any waiters anymore. I'm a shopkeeper and actually we just do takeaway. So jokes are ruined, let alone doctor, I feel like a pair of curtains. Don't trouble us. 111 is the number, but even then, they're very busy right now. You know, you need a curtain shop if you feel like a pair of curtains, but then the curtain shop's closed. This is how complicated comedy has got, ladies and gentlemen, good people of the internet. So, confusing times. But speaking of doctors and nurses, obviously it goes without saying, we doff our caps to them, we clap, we bang our pans, we bang our pots for them. As I said earlier on, we all benefit from the NHS all the time, don't we? Only last week, my daughter broke her arm. We've had paramedics here. I think we've had the thing. I think we're through the thing. I wish you well with all of your journeys along this way. And indeed, many of us now, most of us probably, know people who have been severely affected by this in very real ways. So I mean it in no way light, but I mean that actually to hopefully give a bit of hope that it's tricky times, but we get through it. And I'll be honest, we had that moment a week or two ago of going, this feels so awkwardly uncomfortable and unsettling and crazy, but you come through it. To out to the other side. Am I the only one? There is quiet now, isn't there? The birds are singing in a way that I'm sure I've not heard them sing for a while. So maybe when all this kind of blows over to a degree, there are certain bits we can keep. Would that be nice? Can we do a bit of that, do you think? I don't know. It's rather confusing. Please sing Frozen. Elizabeth Thornton says, well, right, you asked for it. You can blame Elizabeth Thornton for this. I've got a message from Darren Burgess that is the live not going out Easter special. Oh, is this the live not going out Easter special? Very good, Darren, because we're not going out anywhere, and it's live and it's Easter. So yes is the answer to that. And other people, basically, you're meant to be messaging on the chat, but I'm actually literally having some friends texting. Got a giraffe in the audience. Very nice. Oh, there's actually a picture of a giraffe. Do you want to see that? There you go. That's a live. There we go. And that's very nice too. No, so we've had a request for singing of Frozen. So we're going to. I'm sorry about that. And it goes a bit like this. Here we go. Come on, join in if you want. Words on the screen. I'll try and keep it still. And it goes a bit like this. Here we go. Come on in. Right. Can you see that? Can you see that, good people? Right. Right. The Sermon on the Mount to the tune of Let It Go from Frozen. Here we go. Blessed are the merciful. Blessed are the meek. Blessed are the pure in heart, if righteousness they seek. You are the salt of earth, and salt that's extra fine. Yeah. You are the light heaven knows so. Shine. Yeah, come on. Get in it, folks. Here we go. No, don't hide your light under a bowl. Let your yes be yes and no be no. An eye for an eye if they strike right. Then let them strike and then let it go. Let it go. Just turn to them the other cheek. Let it go. Let it go. Remember, blessed are the meek. Flowers don't care what they're going to wear. Let your worries go. The cold never bothered them anyway. It's direct from Matthew's Gospel. There, Matthew 6:28 and Disney. They nicked it, I'm telling you. be perfect just like your God in heaven above. Sorry about the singing, lost my voice, didn't I? And do to others as they'd do back to you in love. See, if you sing along, you'll drown me out. Ask and you'll get, seek and you'll find. Knock on a door if you're inclined. The birds don't fret or sow or reap. They're free. So your woes, let them go. And if your right eye makes you fall, let it go, let it go. Better that than lose it all. Build on rock and don't build on sand. Then let the storm rage on. Stormy music, stormy, stormy, stormy. Stormy phone wobble, stormy phone wobble. There we go. All together now, here we go. No one serves two masters. Pick one, God or loot. And love your enemies and pray for those who persecute. Your eye has got a speck of sawdust somehow lodged. But there's a plank in mine. Don't judge lest you be judged. Doesn't quite work, does it? But none of it does. Let us pray, let us pray. Oh, hallowed be your name. Kingdom come, thanks Julianne, will be done. And give us bread each day. Let us shun any temptation. For the kingdom's yours. The power and the glory, amen. So the problem with using a phone to do the lyrics is that when people send you messages, it kind of flash up on the screen. But well done. Hope you were singing along with that. Good. Rosemary says we're singing along in Horsham. Jason says, do you do karaoke? That's very nice indeed. Rob says, is my text in TV? I don't think so, but maybe it might be. You can be if you'd like. So thank you much indeed. Tony says, just think there are more watching than would fit in the SH After Hours venue. I don't know how many are watching, but then I have, oh, cool, there's a couple of, that's a few. That's slightly terrifying. Let's not overthink it. A couple of thousand. Hello, a couple of thousand people. Phone heckling, well done, buffering. There's a lot of buffering going on. That's probably my end, not your end, so to speak, cheeky. If it's buffering, let's buffer on this, shall we? In fact, wouldn't it be kind of nice if I sort of just do a little freeze frame thing and then you think it's buffering? Buffering. Anyway, look, we're nearly out of time. Couple more minutes. Any questions, any requests, any thoughts, any heckles? This is your chance. Any last minute questions? Chris Rogers says 1.8k. Oh, that's a bit under the 2. It was said 2 on my thing, but that's probably something different. That's how many complaints we've had, isn't it? 1.8, thank you, 1.8. I was looking at something different. That wasn't me kind of rounding up. That was me looking at the thumbs down comments. Any final questions? This is your chance. We are live, and I thank you for joining in. Grace says you can probably gallop better than you can sing. Thank you, Grace. The heckles are cruel, but a fair point to you. Hey, we're speaking of Miranda, right? So we've been, I don't know what she's up to. Not going out is going on. We're still doing a bit of writing of that. So that's very nice indeed. Rob Hare's requested the shark joke. Oh, all right, Rob. This is for Rob of the Bible Society. Hello, Bible Society people. Loving your work. The shark joke, right. Noah's Ark. This is my thing I don't understand about Noah's Ark. Is all the animals, right? What happened with the sharks? Because my theory is that sharks are evil. We've seen Jaws, right? Sharks are evil. They're meant to be wiped out in the flood, but because they're sharks, they get away with it because they can swim. They found a loophole. The sharks go, we'll get through this. 40 days and 40 nights, no problem here. They'll ride it out. They'll just swim a bit deeper, maybe, to keep out of harm's way a little bit. Go, look out, there's Noah. Keep it down, guys. All these sharks, they keep it down, there's Noah. And that's how they got their name, you know. Shh. It's a true story. So thank you, Rob. There you go. That's one of my favourites as well. So admin, 10 o'clock on the Spring Harvest channel, you will find Malcolm Duncan's Night Blessing. I saw it last night. I heard it last night. It's a marvellous thing. And even if you don't catch it live, you can actually catch up later on. If you're going to bed later, if you're a 11 o'clock midnight kind of person, beautiful thing to listen to before you go to sleep. Plenty more on all week as well at Spring Harvest. Gig-wise, well, I've enjoyed this. We've had some technical hitches. We've had some times where I was literally delivering stories to no laughter, because that's how it generally goes in life, isn't it? But I'm getting more used to it, and this is the new norm for now. It's not ideal. None of this is perfect, but that's life. That's the world we have. It's the world we've made it. And you know what? We're going to go on. We're going to keep on trucking. We're going to do our thing. And so I'm Spring Harvest is on all this week, and then I might do this again. I think next Tuesday, a bit early, maybe 8 o'clock next Tuesday. I reckon I might try another online gig of sorts. So if you fancy joining me, I think Spring Harvest would have finished by then, but I might do it over on my Paul Kerensa page on the old Facebook. So if you're welcome to join us there. Same time next week. Let's give it a go. 8 o'clock maybe, a bit earlier. Tune in at 9. You'll have missed it, which is maybe a good thing. So might give that another go. Someone else wants the belly button. Not doing the belly button tonight. Maybe next week. We'll see about that. Press your laughter button, says Emma. All right, here we go. A little bit of that. Thank you. Thanks so much indeed. Congratulations on Radio 4 Pick of the Week. Thank you. Yeah, I've got Pick of the Week this week, Radio 4. It's very nice of them for a different thing. That's another story. I better raise a glass to you and to all at Spring Harvest. God bless you, Spring Harvest. We cannot wait to come back next year. And even if you're watching this and you're not a Spring Harvesty person, you might have stumbled across this somehow. We can't wait to get back to the gigs, can we? Can't wait to get back to the live things. We can't wait to get back to it all. In the meantime, we soldier on. I wish you well wherever you are. A big hello to you, especially if you are, if you're home alone, if you're there, if you're self-isolating and you're on your Todd. A greeting to you, and there is great things here all week at the Spring Harvest channel. Do enjoy those. Sing Galilee. Oh, I have got Galilee. All right, we'll have one last song. I've been told I've got until just before 10, and then I have to vacate the channel for Sir Malcolm Duncan. I say Sir Malcolm, it's a matter of time. Let's just sing us out. We'll have a bit of Galilee, all right? I just realised I've kind of blown the punchline by calling it that. Forget I said that. We'll fix it in post. It's not live, is it? Okay. This is Amy Winehouse, Mark Ronson, the Zootons song about Jesus calling the disciples. And it goes like this. Here we go. Ready? Here we go, right. Well, sometimes I go out by myself for a walk across the water. And so I think of all the things, what I'm doing, and in the boat I see some fishermen. 'Cause since I've come on here, well, you 12 are in a mess. And Peter, I don't care that you still are fully dressed. Won't you come on over? Stop making a fool out of me. Why don't you come on over, Galilee? There's the joke, there it is. Galilee. Wasn't worth it, was it? Galilee. Not going to do the whole song, because that's all the joke there is. So, thanks everybody. Thanks. Really, really appreciate it. Very, very good of you. God bless you. And God shine his face upon you, and may what's the blessing they do? The Celtic blessing. May the road rise up to meet you. May the internet superhighway rise up to meet you, and may you be well in all of these things. And we'll see you online again, I'm sure. Spring Harvest Channel's got loads of stuff on, and the rest of us just connect with people. We're all out there, Facebook and Twitter and stuff like that. Do find us, and just let's look forward to better days. Bless you. Have a marvellous one. And thank you for watching. We'll see you again another time. Good night, everybody. Thank you. Thank you much indeed. Thank you much indeed. You're very kind. You're very kind. Thank you. Thank you. No, that's the wrong one. That's not good at all. That's really inappropriate. Let's have. That's not good. Yeah, that's more appropriate. Good night.